Hello, Karibuni. Welcome to Mkandoya Foods. I'm Mkandoya, the Millennial Farmer. This is a channel where we talk about food and agricultural global systems. So, as promised, today we're going to be reviewing the first app that I actually think is quite dope and cool. Welcome to a series of dope app. So before we begin, I would want to encourage you, if you're a farmer, if you're in the agribusiness industry, to please have an app on your phone or use some sort of digitization on your phone. The world is going digital now, and it would be quite unfortunate if you are not using something to do with technology to make your life a little bit more efficient and, to make you produce more. The world is going digital now, and it makes more sense to have something that's efficient in helping you to digitize your life and to digital your farm. So without further ado, let's get into the first app. That's iCow. The one reason I really love this app is that it's made by Africans for Africans. So it's based mainly in East Africa. However, if you're any other part of the African country, I think you can now be able to see some effects and some uses of it. You'll still be able to use the app regardless of which country you are in the continent, but there are some platforms that you may not be able to access very well. With that be the case, they're still modifying and adapting the app to be able to suit different places and regions in the African continent. If you're in another part of the world, especially a developing country, this app is also useful for that. This is not only a livestock app, it can also be used for crops, which is also another reason as to why I like it so much. Because different livestock that are quite common for smallholder farmers, most of them actually end up being mixed farmers and plant crops as well. So the first reason, as the first pro of this app, is that it's easy to download. Once you have a smartphone, you can get it on Apple or Google Play Store. Download it on your phone and you're able to use it to go. It also has features that are able to be used offline, which is quite cool. So you can download some features like the courses that they have, the information on audio, and some of the pictures. You can download them and use them offline. It's based on information on the country. So depending on where your farm is, you will place the location, you will place the country, and they will give you information based on what you have placed. For example, we are in Kajiado County. That's where the family farm is. And in as much as in the moment I am not currently in Kenya, I'm able to put information about my country and about the county that I am in. And I'm able to get information on drought, pests, locust invasion, if it's flooding and all that stuff, and real time. So as it's happening, you get to see what's going on. But right now nothing is happening, so yeah. And then another thing is that you have the expert contacts at your fingertips, which is amazing because sometimes you need help with your pigs now. Maybe your sow is about to give birth, or it's going through its gestation period and something is wrong and you don't know what's going on, and you've tried ABCD and it doesn't work, and you're calling your vet and he or she is not available. So the fact that there are so many vets on standby around your county is a plus. It could also be that because our farm is in Kajiado, and Kajiado is definitely a livestock county in terms of agriculture, maybe that's why there are more vets in the area. I don't know, but the fact that they're easily available is quite cool. Literally at your fingertips with the numbers exactly, and their occupation and their certification and their credentials, everything is up there for you to see. And then the most important one for me, the language. Y'all, it's in English, and it can also be, no, it's actually mainly in English, but you can get the audios in Swahili. And depending on the country that you've picked, the app is based on the national and local language of that country. So for example, in Kenya, we speak Kiswahili as our national language. So you get the app in English, but a lot of the audio is in Swahili because it's farmers who are calling vets or calling agronomists and need help with ABCD, and the whole conversation is in Swahili, so you can follow through. Then it's the same thing. Someone's calling.
Hello, Dugu. Hey, mi naitwa Dr. Kemogo. Yes. Kutoka iCow. iCow. Naona ulikuwa umetutumia swali ukitaka kujua namna ya typhoid symptoms.
Okay. So that continues and continues until the end of the conversation. That's really cool. So for someone who's starting out, you can definitely listen to the audios and get some information from there. I really like that. I'm not interested in apps that are just too technical and too English based. I want something simple, and I feel like this app is trying to make that part simple. Yep. So let's look at the pros of this app. First and foremost, when you go to the section of in the library section, in the podcast section, there is a lot of agricultural jargon. By jargon, I mean the words are heavy, and sometimes when I was listening to some of the podcasts, I really couldn't keep up so long because the podcast is so long, and the wording, though I understand because I have an agricultural development background, for someone else who is pretty much getting into the agribusiness game, I find this is difficult for the person to flow with. And I asked my mom to download this app and look at it over her phone, and she said she listened to some of the podcasts and it was just a bit much. Though she is in the agricultural field, she didn't really get into it the way I am. So some things she's learning on the ground and I'm learning on the ground as well. But I mean, some of the information needs you to have a scientific basis, which is a bit, yeah, that's one con I have about it. And the podcasts are all in English, and I think it would be really nice if the audio forms were actually moved to the podcast session, because you would listen to that at a podcast, in as much as, yes, it's a diagnosis that the vet is giving to a specific farmer on phone, and then the call is recorded. That would really work as a podcast, because I would want to listen to that in a language and in a dialect and in the simplest way I can understand, not with so much science at the background. I mean, I feel like the app is geared for people who are very much well informed about the agricultural scientific aspect of it and the technical aspect, but it doesn't forget the people who are just the technical parts of the technical side of the agribusiness sector, which is fine. It's just that there has to be a balance, and I feel like it's leaning more towards someone who really kind of knows what they're doing. Someone who's starting out can find it a little bit difficult. Okay, third con is that most of the information in the app is based on organic agriculture, and though that is a good thing, especially for me because I am studying organic agriculture, I realize and I understand and I fully am aware that most people in Africa who are farming are organic by default, meaning they choose to use manure and have their own pesticides because they cannot afford synthetic pesticides that are chemical based. They're just too expensive. However, it's the one thing that they can have access to most in terms of a crisis, because sometimes there are subsidies on this and a farmer would rather go for the subsidized pesticide than make their own. So I would like an integration of the same. Now, I'm not saying that organic is bad. It's definitely a great idea, but it cannot feed the masses that we're trying to feed. However, synthetic fertilizers are also not the best because people don't necessarily know how to use them. But I feel like an integration of the two would work well. So this is something the app hasn't gotten into. They're using a lot of advice that's organic, which is fine, but they're forgetting that a lot of the farmers are not necessarily that way, organic farmers. Okay, so those are the cons, those are the pros and cons of this app. Let me know what you think. This is what I think about it. I just reviewed it for about a day or two. I haven't really gotten to use it properly, and I think that will take up a couple of months, maybe a month or two, to get to see it in action with the pigs, with the chicken, with the cows, and whatever crops that you're growing. Apart from the fact that it's jargon heavy, it's a really good app that you can try. So if you're entering the agribusiness sector, download this app, tell me what you think about it, and let's discuss more about further apps to come in the future videos. Okay, that's all I have for you guys today. Till the next one, kwaheri.